Question number 1. Now if you look at these reteaching similar problems, they're a lot like your reteaching, which were a lot like your quiz. Now one thing people were really confused about, I'm not sure really why, but these are separate questions. Here's my first question, and then this is my second question. So first I'm going to put all that information into, if you know, this is 11.6, into my calculator, calculate L1, edit, calculate, or stat, then move over, calculate, push enter. My mean, again, my mean is this number right here, 226.43. If on the test or quiz you get this wrong, it's because you put your information in incorrectly. So always be very careful when you put in your numbers into L1. Standard deviation is your SX, just like that. So I have 101.17. That's it for my question number 1. That's all I'm asking for. Question number 2 now, different. Now it says, determine the whole number of standard deviations from the mean and include all the data. Here's your information right here. I give it to you because I'm so nice like that. Now it already gives you your mean. It already gives you your standard deviation, just like that. The one thing you do have to look at is what's your minimum. Well, okay, I see an 18, that's pretty small. Oh, here's a 17.95, so that would be my minimum. Now I'm looking at my numbers and say, which one's my maximum? Oh, it's right next to each other. My min and max are right next to each other. Aren't that cute? They're just such good friends. We start in the mean, so that's where we start from. So my mean here is 26.31. So one standard deviation would be moving 1 to the right, so I'm going to add 2.57, and then 1 to the left, so I'm going to subtract 2.57. Now if I do that, I get 28.88, and when I subtract, I would get 23.74. So what am I thinking in my head now to see if I'm done? These are in between my numbers. This is like my number line. I have to think, do these numbers fit in between this number line? Do these numbers fit in between one standard deviation? Well, 17.95 is less than that, so it does not fit in between these numbers. So I have to go again. And actually 29.95 also doesn't. So I'm going to move again to the right. So I'm going to add 2.57 and subtract 2.57. And I get 31.45. And I get 21.17. So again, my thinking process is 17.95 in between these two numbers? No. I'm also thinking, is 29.95 in between these two numbers? Yes. 29 is less than this endpoint. 29, if this was a number line, 29 would be someplace right here. I could make that little tick mark on that number line. So on the right-hand side, I'm good. I don't have to move any further. But I'm not good on the left-hand side, so I have to move again. So I have to subtract 2.57 again. And I get 18.6. So I have to think again, if I want to plot this number on my number line, would it fit in between 18.6 and 31? No, because 17.95 is someplace over here, so it doesn't fit on that number line. So I have to go again, I have to subtract. If I subtract it again, I get 16.03. Now I have to think, does 17.95 fit on that number line? Yes, it does, but it fits someplace over here. So yes, I could plot that point. So I'm looking at standard deviations. This was 1. This is 2. I didn't have to move again over here, but I had to move 3 and 4 on the left. It's always your largest number. So my answer would be 4 standard. That's really ugly, but it's deviations. Or SD. 4 standard deviations would be my answer here. And my last question. So this is, oopsies. Sorry. I was supposed to write it right here. 4 standard deviations. Next question. Here's my information. Plug into your calculator. Plug into your calculator, find your mean and standard deviation. Again, your mean is the X with the line. If you don't know how to plug this into your calculator, you must either watch that video on Edpuzzle, or you could come in for help. I'm a pretty nice lady, and I will help you out if I'm available. And if I like you, no, even if I don't like you, I'll still help you. Now my next question says, I want R, sorry. Which clubs are within 1 standard deviation? Are. So one thing I have to do is, here's my mean. So I'm going to only move 1 standard deviation. Again, 1 standard deviation means I add it on the right, and I subtract it on the left, so I can get my new endpoints. So now when I'm looking at this, my endpoints here are 26.005 and 1,517.745. So my question is, which clubs' values fundraising are in between these two numbers? So if I could look back here, I would write down, I'm not going to write these all down, my answers would be adventure, because 500 is in between these two numbers. It'll be a car, those are in between these two numbers. Chess, that's in between these two numbers, because I'm asking which ones are in 1 standard deviation. Drama, that's in between these two numbers. Ecology, that's in between them. Film, that's in between them. Service, no, I'm not including service. Service would not be included. It is not in between 1 standard deviation. And spirit, that is in between 1 standard deviation. So those would all be my answers for the last one. There you go. There you have it. Standard deviation.